Hi, I'm Alan from RulerMake.
And I'm Alistair.
Today we're showing you Entropy, a fast-paced, competitive card game of risk interception for 2 to 4 players. So I guess we should go right down to it.
Yeah.
So in the game of Entropy, 4 worlds represented by these 4 characters. Their worlds have collided, forming this nexus. So here we've got one of each of the worlds. They're represented by the symbols that you see. That's how they're connected. And also this color schemes are sort of matched to the character's character card. So your aim in the game is to try and collect the worlds that belong to you in order for you to return home. So I'll sort of let you talk about the actions.
Yeah, so in addition to the 4 separate worlds, each player who represents one of the worlds and takes one of these character cards also gets one of each of 4 different action cards. Beacon, Eye of the Storm, Telekinesis, and Phase Shift. The characters also get one unique ability it's unique to their particular world, to their reality. So militant, persuasive, deceptive, and resourceful.
Over here we also have, these are called the wild fragments, and the wild fragments can actually be collected in order for you to win the game, but the slight twist to the wild cards is that it doesn't actually belong to anyone. So some of these action cards will have a way to obtain these to take it away from other players. That's sort of where part of the strategy comes in. In addition to that, we've got the anchor card, and this is a very special and very powerful card in the game, which is coupled with the phase shift. So the phase shift in this instance have take the anchor, which allows you to take this, and shortly when we actually start playing the game, we will explain how this unique system works.
Yeah, so for now this is a good overview of all the cards that come with the game. And what we'll do now is we'll set up a game and go through how the game is played. So now we're going to go through a 2-player game of Entropy. To start with, we're playing with 2 characters and their respective realities. So each reality again has 4 fragments, and the character's reality, you can see there's a symbol here on the character card, and that's mirrored on the reality cards. So for a setup for a 2-player game, you need 1 set of each of the standard actions.
Yep, number 1, 3, 4.
Yep. The 2 respective realities, 1 wild card, the anchor. These here are the unique character abilities. However, for a 2-player game, we don't use these. All other cards are placed aside because we won't be using any of those for this.
Okay, so as our initial setup, all we do is we pick up all the fragments, we shuffle them. Alistair's playing Senek, I'll be playing Jessup. We've got the wildcard fragment that comes included into the deck, which we call the nexus. I'll give it a good shuffle, and we deal out 1 starting fragment to the left-hand side of the character. This is important. We keep this forms a nexus deck alongside with an anchor. I'll pick up my standard 4 action cards in my hand, and 1 card will come out as the starting discard, and we're good to go. So before we begin, any card that you have in your tableau you're able to actually look at. This will sort of help you formulate what you're going to be doing. So Alistair, I'll just let you explain about this again.
So the game consists of rounds, and each round consists of 3 turns. The basic flow of a turn is that each player chooses a action in secret and places it face down in front of them. Once both players have selected their action, it's then revealed. So I've played Beacon, which is to reveal all of my fragments or to reveal one of another player's fragment. Alan has played Eye of the Storm, which is to draw 2 fragments from the nexus and discard 1, or to take any fragment from the discard. Now you'll notice that each action has a number associated with it, which is the initiative value. This is how we resolve actions in Entropy, with 1 going first and 4 going last. So in this particular instance, I'll be going first because I have a 1, which is the beacon, and I'm going to reveal all of my fragments. So this fragment here belongs to my reality, belongs to Senec's reality. The symbol here matches my symbol here. Now that that's revealed, it forms part of my permanent tableau and is now locked in. So now my action has been played. I put the played action in front of me and pass it over to Alan, who has his go.
So now I'm going to be playing mine. For my actions, I can either draw 2 fragments from the nexus and discard one of them out and keep the other one, or I can just pick one from the discard. At this point, it's important to mention that anything that you draw from the nexus at any point, this is called shrouded, this is called revealed. Shrouded just means card face down, revealed means card face up. So a shrouded fragment that comes out into my tableau stays shrouded. Anything that's in the discard is already revealed, so when it comes in, it's already revealed. So as you notice that if, in this case, I'm going to take the fragment from the discard, and the moment that I've taken it, it's already revealed. So as it comes in, it automatically gets locked in. So there goes one of the turns. We will be playing 2 more turns for a 2-player game. For a 3 or 4-player game, you include the unique character ability cards, and you play 4 turns in a single round. So in a 2-player game, it's just the 3 turns. So we're going to be playing a second one. Right, reveal. Okay, so Alistair's played the Eye of the Storm, that's a number 2, and Face Shift is number 4. So Alistair's going to take his turn first.
So I get to go first. Again, I get to either draw 2 fragments from the nexus and discard 1, or take a fragment from the discard. There's nothing in the discard, so I'm forced to take 2 cards from the nexus. I get to look at them, choose the one that I want to keep. It goes onto my tableau shrouded, so any card that comes off the nexus deck must remain shrouded, and the card that I don't want to keep goes into the discard. And that completes my turn, and now it's Alan's turn.
So I played the Face Shift, and I'm actually going to take the anchor. When the occasion arises, we'll explain how the anchor works, but for now I'm just going to take it and keep it. So there's our second turns. We're going to our third.
And so this is the 3rd turn of the round, so it's the last turn of the round. So we both choose our action. When we're ready, we flip it over, and we've both selected telekinesis.
So in this instance, because we've both chosen the same action, that's actually caused what we call a temporal clash. And because of this clash, normally both players who has participating in the clash cannot actually take an action. So in this instance, normally we would actually both lose out on our turn, with the exception that I have the anchor. So what the anchor does is that when a clash occurs, I still get to resolve my action. And once I've resolved my action, I return the anchor back into the nexus. So that's how the anchor is used.
And because I don't have an anchor, therefore I have clashed.
Yes.
My card goes 90 degrees on top of the other 3 cards, and this denotes that that action was a clashed action.
Yes.
And now Alan gets to resolve his because he was able to play the anchor.
What I'd like to do is I would like to discard your fragment. That's
Okay.
right.
So when discarding any card, it always is revealed and placed into the discard.
Okay, so that concludes 3 turns. During this time, we have a temporal reset. So what essentially is happening is that anything that's in its discard is picked up and shuffled back into the nexus to start a new round. And as always, one card goes out to the discard, and then would both players pick up their hand, place it into the hand, and start a new round again.
Any cards that are in your tableau remain in your tableau. They don't move at the end of a reset. If you have the anchor card at the end of a round, you keep the anchor card. It doesn't have to go back into the nexus.
Okay, so let's have a look. So I'm going to verbalize my strategy a little bit just to give players a sense of what we're trying to do. So it's very evident that I've got a reality that belongs to me, and I want to take this. But it's also very obvious that Alistair knows about the fact that this is what I'm going to be doing. So in this instance, my actions, what I really want to be doing is Eye of the Storm to pick it out and put it and have that already locked in. That means that I'm actually going to be one closer to winning. Alistair doesn't actually know what I've got here on the left-hand side. It could be mine, it could be his. So that's something that I want to sort of keep as my advantage. That's information that I know about. So there's really three things that I can do that would really benefit me. I could either play the phase shift to take the anchor, in which case I'm going to be guaranteed that I've got sort of an edge over Alistair for the next 2 turns, or the following turn, I mean. Or I can play the Eye of the Storm, hoping that he's not going to be playing the same action as mine. Or I can play the Beacon and actually reveal this, potentially, because this could be mine. So this is something that Alistair don't know about. And going in, I'm going to choose this card.
So yeah, my considerations are that I obviously don't know the action that Allen is going to play. I have to try and think, am I going to second guess him? Am I going to play Eye of the Storm, assuming that he's playing Eye of the Storm? Or perhaps he's going to assume that that's what I'm going to do, so perhaps he'll play something else to try and dodge me playing Eye of the Storm. So there's a little bit of that second guessing going on, and a bit of bluff and deception.
And as a part of the optional rule for the Entropy is that table talk is actually allowed, so you can sort of talk it out and bluff your opponents.
Okay, so we both selected our action, so let's
see
reveal.
What it is. Eye of the Storm clashes, so both of ours is blocked. Unfortunately, none of us have the anchor.
So this was an important move for me, because the only way that you can take a card from the discard is with Eye of the Storm. So I've essentially prevented Alan from being able to take his fragment from the discard.
And for this round, Eye of the Storm is now used, which means that the only opportunity, I will have no opportunity of taking this, because at the end of the round, this is going to get shuffled back into the nexus. So that was a good move by Alice's part.
Okay, so next turn, Eye of the Storm's out of play now. So there's no way for either of us to gain a fragment from the nexus or the discard. At this stage, for me at least, I have nothing that I can reveal, so Beacon is partially useful to me in that I could reveal one of Alan's cards. Telekinesis, I could also force him to discard one of his cards. I know that telekinesis is not particularly useful for Alan, because I'd have nothing for him to swap with or for him to cause me to discard.
So if I was to play telekinesis, which I might be, it's only to try and stop Alistair from discarding my fragment.
Yeah. Okay, so we're both selected and reveal, and it's Beacon. Alright. So now we have 2 clashes.
That's right.
Okay, so last turn of the round.
So this is a good point to quickly mention that in the rules, when 3 out of the in the 2-player game it's the same. So 3 clashed actions will yield both players. Anyone who's actually have 3 blocked clashes, 3 clashes in this instance, to go into the nexus to find to search the reality that belongs to you and place it shrouded onto this side.
So in this instance, there's a good chance that Alan and I will clash again, and that would be desirable for both of us, really, because we get to choose one of our own fragments from the nexus at the end of the round.
So the reason why this exists is to push the game along, but also this is a way for blocked actions to actually have a very interesting sort of shift in our power dynamics. So let's see how we go with this one. I have a feeling I'm going to play this. I feel like this
and reveal.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So in my case, I've made the wrong guess. I thought that Alistair is going to try and play telekinesis to try and discard this particular one, which is actually advantageous. He's chosen to actually not do that, to take the anchor. Strategically speaking, taking the anchor at this point is quite clever because you keep the anchor for the next round at the start. So I've made the wrong choice. And neither of us block, so we don't get to pick from the nexus, but you're actually, strategically, I think, you're actually a bit ahead of me. Okay, so that's the 3 rounds. We're going to kick it up, and we're going to try and sort of pick up the pace in the game without explaining, so let's see how this goes. Now this makes it really tough for me, and now, essentially, Alistair can just basically strong arm his way through and pick that up, and there's nothing really I can do except to get out of the way. So the best choice for me is to play this card.
And reveal.
So Alistair's going to take the. Okay, and I'm going to take the anchor, essentially to try and stay one step ahead of Alistair in this instance. Okay. Reveal. Yeah. I have the storm, pick 2, discard 1. I'm in the same predicament as you, and I believe you have won the game.
So the reason I played telekinesis is that Alan has to. I knew he was going to play Eye of the Storm, or hoped he would.
Yes.
So he now has a fragment in his tableau,
yep,
shrouded, that I can then use telekinesis
to discard.
To discard.
This is actually a blunder on my part. I had the upper hand, so I should have actually taken a back seat and allowed Alistair to actually do his work rather than to actually play Out of the Storm in this instance, which probability-wise, it's not actually a good move on my part.
And last.
Yep, we take the phase shift, telekinesis come in. Nothing happens for telekinesis. Alright, pretty sure this is going to be the last round, depending on what comes out. You know what? You pick. Discard. There you go. Let's see what happens. Okay, so Alistair has, I believe, won the game.
Alright.
Reveal?
Yep. So of course I play Eye of the Storm. I picked up the anchor last round, which guarantees that I can play Eye of the Storm, which allows me to take my last fragment, and I've completed my reality. Therefore, I win the game.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Alan.